Hi, Dan from Inflation Support Services here, and welcome to this chat on incremental growth and why that's important upon a healing journey. Now, consider your healing journey in the context of you're wanting to buy something expensive and we don't have the funds. We're a bit short on actually being able to achieve whatever it is we're wanting to purchase. So rather than trying to buy something that we don't have the financial value towards, we start to budget. We start to put away the money step by step, incrementally. Each week when we get our paycheck, we're putting away a little to actually build upon a foundation of financial worth to the point that we actually have all those funds and we have the choice of either purchasing that goods or continuing on building upon that, because we might have gotten there and it's like, well, it's kind of not what I want at the end, and it's like we see the value in the saving of the money. Now, when we've experienced trauma, when we've experienced any form of distress, we can feel sometimes emotionally worthless, or be made to feel emotionally worthless and feel that we don't have a lot of worth. And when we choose to step upon a recovery journey, which you could look at as recovery journey as a process, similar for me to get from A to B takes a process from getting from A to B, or to step upon a plane still takes a process to get from one destination to another destination. And you could say, well, is it a process of time heals all wounds? Because there's a time process in that. But trauma tends to get stuck in the body. So past events, it's like frozen in time. The body gets frozen in that trauma. So there's going to be a process in undoing some of that trauma and learning to unlearn some of the belief systems that we had about ourselves. When it comes to incremental growth, it's looking at the healing process as a building upon changing behaviors or changing emotional states, or changing dysregulation, getting ourselves more into that window of tolerance little by little. Time doesn't heal all wounds. It's what we're doing in that time that is healing those wounds. So we're not waiting for time to heal it. We're waiting for what we're doing in that time, in that process. So what is our chosen healing modality that we're working on ourselves to feel a little bit better than what we were before? And that's kind of like a little mantra of, like, I'm trying to heal myself a little bit better than what I was before. And sometimes in that process, we can take one step forward and 2 steps back. But that is because we're actually starting to touch upon some of these emotions that we were told to suppress, that we weren't allowed to have. We were told to just keep on moving on, push, just keep a stiff upper lip sort of thing. Don't feel these emotions around me because that makes me feel uncomfortable. So sometimes when we're stepping into some of these emotions, we start to get a little bit awareness of ourselves. We start to get our own form of identity that is separate to a group mentality, a group conformity mentality, and that can be within a social group, a family group, where it's not the benefit of oneself, it's the benefit of everyone sort of thing. So your sense of identity is not there because it's in service of others. So when we start to have those awarenesses of oneself, it's like, oh, okay, it's like my sense of worth, my sense of value was there for others, not for myself. So once we start to rein in our emotional expenses, we start to and realize that's being taken an emotional toll upon us. We can start to build upon our own sense of self, our own self-worth, our own self-value, and start to do that through the therapies that we've chosen to do daily, step by step. So knowing when to rest, and knowing that guilt mentality, that shame mentality of like, oh, I haven't done it today sort of thing, is only going to further inflame a situation that was already there. So if we've already dealt with a lot of guilt and shame and blame that we weren't doing enough for others, in our healing journey, once we start to have that awareness of like, oh, I haven't done my whatever it is therapy for today, and we start to punish ourselves, So if you've got the mentality of like, well, I haven't done it today, I need to push myself, and it's like, I seem to be doing myself more harm in this process, it might be that time where your body needs to integrate, it needs to regulate, it needs to find its balance once again. Because if we don't stop and smell the roses along the way, if we don't enjoy the journey, if we don't realize where we are, if we're just trying to sprint and shortcut to the end journey, the end point, then there's going to be no learning processes in that. There's going to be no learning processes of oneself, no awarenesses of oneself, no knowing of what brings you value, what brings you worth, what you want in your life, where your sense of identity can still be part of a group, but it's not the group. It's not like conforming to an ideology of the group. It's conforming to you contributing to the group, but still being an identity that is separate to the group. And once we start to incrementally grow, once we start to build step by step, like day by day, what am I going to be doing today? Do I want to do a little bit of EFT tapping? Do I want to be doing my EMDR today? Do I want to be whatever therapy is related to you? Do I want to journal today? Do I want to do this today? But it's also knowing that once we touch upon those strong emotions, that's where that mentality of like, well, I got to push through. It's like I got to stiff up a lip. That automatic conditioning that's happening may be the past that is actually yelling at you in your mind, saying you need to keep going, you need to do this. It's, once again, you've got a sensitive nervous system that's been dysregulated. We don't want to yell at a sensitive nervous system. We want to nurture it, we want to care for it, and understand and have that an awareness once again that we're trying to undo something that has been instilled in us for a long time, and that can carry a lot of emotional intensity and a lot of emotional charge behind it. And we don't want to overwhelm our nervous system by having that push-through mentality. There are times where we do need to push a little bit more, and there are times where we need to rest. And that's going to be individual to the person, individual to the experiences. Some people can lift the heavy weights, some people can't. And when we're trying to release those heavy weights, we don't want to have that situation where we just become so overwhelmed that we collapse, and it takes longer. So it's a gradual step-by-step process. If you don't want to use step-by-step, it's a stage-by-stage process. It's a process of time where every day we're getting a little bit better than what we were before. So keeping that in mind, knowing that your trauma recovery is going to be different to your gym routine or your physical routine or your diet routine, because we're dealing with a lot of stuff that is actually being not that great and has been keeping us stuck for a long time, which can include fear, anger, terror, freeze responses, wanting to escape the therapy sort of thing, all these sorts of things where we start to feel emotions that have been quite primal, and we're trying to bring a sense of balance back to that, bring a sense of what is normal for our own sort of situations and mind, and going about the lifestyle of our choice once again. So, but we can only do that step by step. So, and it's a way of actually understanding ourselves a lot better than trying to rush the process. So, I'm Dion from Your Flesh and Sports Services, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.